Okay, so I'm gonna just start to ask you all to come into a comfortable seated position. We're just gonna take a moment to arrive wherever we are. Hopefully we're on a yoga mat or somewhere comfortable. And see if you wanna close your eyes for a moment. And you can sit here for this short mindfulness practice. You can sit cross-legged or on your knees, whatever feels comfortable. And we're just gonna, as I say, allow us to come here and now. We can close our eyes, and maybe taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Taking an inhale through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You can even just allow yourself to make a sound as you exhale, especially if you're at home, or just don't be shy. Doing a few more of these in through the nose. And using the exhales to allow your shoulders to relax. Just feeling the body kind of sinking down into your posture, into your pose. Okay, and you can rest your palms where it feels comfortable, on the knees or the thighs. And I'm gonna put our focus a little bit on the breath here. So just checking in with the breath, maybe to start with without changing anything, just noticing your breath. See if you're breathing deeply or if it's shallow. Maybe notice where you take the breath, if it's in your chest, or if you can breathe down into the belly area, the rib cage. And if you can, see if you can make the breaths a little bit deeper. So making them a little bit slower, taking deeper inhales and deeper exhales. And if it's available, try to bring the breath down into the belly or into the rib cage. So we're not so much breathing up to the chest, but more down, filling up our lungs, really using our full lungs. You might notice if we're far into the pregnancy that there's less and less space. But being conscious of this deep breath also allows us to practice the capacity of the lungs. So taking a few more of these deep breaths. And we'll work not only with postures and poses through this course, but also going a little bit into the breathing, because this is such a great tool to help us come more into our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, and help us understand a little bit how we can switch to this more relaxed state. And one of these things is to try to bring the breathing from the chest and more into the lung space and the downward belly area. Okay, so you can slowly open your eyes if they're closed. And just want to welcome you all, both those that have been here before and the new ones. And my name is Selma, if you haven't practiced with me before. And as I said, we'll go, this is a 4-week course, and I've been doing it now for more than a year and a half, I think, year and a half, this course. And So it's taking a little bit, I've been able to shape it a little bit and play around to see what works better and what not. And I like to keep it a little bit interactive. I'm not only gonna, as I say, we're not only gonna be doing a flow, but we'll be making sure that we're moving, and through these 4 weeks, we're gonna be building up a nice flow that you can also continue on your own after the course if you wish to. And as mixing into it a little bit, talking, and you're always welcome to ask. The more you ask, the better, then you're getting more out of it. And also, of course, if you have something special that you want me to touch on during the course, or whatever it is, please let me know, like in class, or you can write me through email or whatever. And what else? A lot of the poses that we do are not only helping us prepare for the birth, but we can also use it in the birth. So we'll touch on that as well. So poses that we can use during the birth. And yeah, I think I always like to talk a little bit also at the beginning of why we're doing this, why we want to do yoga during pregnancy, what is it, what are the benefits and things like this. So we actually, without being pregnant, we're actually recommended to do 30 minutes moderate exercise every day. And what a lot of us don't realize, that it's recommended to continue that also during the pregnancy. And of course, I've noticed both through teaching and just being around my friends that have been pregnant, that a lot of the times they get a little bit insecure how they can move. They're afraid they'll do something that can be dangerous for you or the baby and things like this. And of course, there are things that we should be more careful about, but there's nothing that goes against moving and staying after during the pregnancy if we know these few things that we should be careful about. And my practice comes from what is called the dolphin method. I studied with a teacher in the US, and she set up a nice method to go through these precautions that we have to worry about. So I'll be going through them during the course as well. And these are 6 different points that we'll touch on, and that kind of explains what we need to be careful about and why, and things like that. And of course, as with regular yoga, what we're doing in prenatal yoga, we're connecting with the breath, we're connecting this movement and breathing, and we get more body awareness. It helps us listen to the body, what's happening in the body. And this is especially important when we have all these changes happening during the pregnancy, of course. And this also, this connection of the breathing, moving, and being more aware of the body also helps us to stay cautious of not doing something hurtful or doing something that can cause us harm or such. What else? Let's see if I'm forgetting something. This also helps us with the stamina, that we'll be working a lot with that. For example, doing exercises that helps us, if we're in a pose or something and we're struggling, how can we use the breath? How can we use our awareness and focusing on what feels good in the body instead of what's feeling painful, and by that helping us, for example, going through when we come into contractions during the labor and things like this. So putting our focus on different things and using our breath. And also with the breathing, we'll go a little bit deeper into this as well later in the course, but the breath can not only help us relax, but it can help us ease tension that can be created. And there's something we call pain-fear tension cycle that we can easily go into when we feel this fear and we start tensing up, and that actually comes into a cycle and starts feeling more pain because we're creating tension. So using the breath, this is also something that can help us relax and let go. Yes, I think that's all from this. Maybe now, we've been sitting for about 5-10 minutes now already. If you're already feeling like this is difficult, I want to come into a little bit the props we can use. So we can feel, because the most important thing, if I'm going to say anything in this course, is that you feel comfortable during the course. And of course, we're going to maybe struggle or feel something is hard or difficult, but we never want to feel any pain. And we want to be able to focus on comfort, especially if you're sitting for a while or you're doing breathing exercise or something like this, making sure you're not struggling in the pose. And that also goes through the poses we'll do during the course. So one of the things, this is also good to go through the props, because if for those of you that are home, and also when you need to be home, you might not have everything we have here at the studio, but I'll give you a few ideas of what you can use instead. So we have these yoga blocks. These are great, for example, just to lift up the hips if we're sitting cross-legged, because this allows us to relax a little bit more. We're not struggling to keep the knees up as much. Something to use instead at home. We'll be using these blocks quite a bit. So if you have, you can use books, you can use, sometimes you have like a laundry detergent box or something that's heavy enough and doesn't move, because we're going to be using this also. For example, you'll see later in this class, we're using it under the hands to lift up a little bit, things like this. We have the bolster. I recommend, if you're home, just having lots of pillows and blankets around. Also, instead of these bolsters, using pillows from the sofa, for example, these big ones, if you have something like this, something that's kind of thick and sturdy. Yes, and another thing I wanna mention, one of the things that happens during pregnancy, we get our joints become a little bit more sensitive. So that's one of the things that we wanna take care of, especially if we start. You might not, in the beginning, you might not feel it too much, but when you start feeling into it, there are things that we can do about that. And just to touch on it now, I'll come back into this later, but you can see those that are here in the studio, I put the extra mat here under. So if you're at home, you can also use one of those blankets or towels. And this is just to give you a little extra cushion for the knees. So you have, it's a little bit softer for the knees, but it also can be used to lift up the wrists here a little bit. So you're not pressing too much like this, you're lifting up a little bit, so there's not as much tension here. And we can do this even going a little bit further with this, having a blanket or a towel rolled up. We always place it under the mat so we don't slip. And here it's the same, it's a support for the wrists, lifting them up a little bit more. And this can also be used for the ankles. For example, if you come into down dog, you have this extra support here. So these are few things that we can adjust. And of course, if you have any questions or you're not sure if you're home what you can use, let me know. Okay, what else? Do you have any questions so far? No one? No? Okay, I think, let's see, what time is it? I think let's just come into our practice. So if you're not, well, we'll start moving very soon, so don't worry. So please sit on your block if that feels better, or blanket, or whatever feels good. And I'm going to come into one breathing technique that we'll use throughout the classes, and it's called Ujjayi breathing. You might be familiar with it if you have been doing yoga before. But Ujjayi breath is a breathing technique where we make a little bit of a constraint here in the neck, and it's a little bit like we're making a little bit of tightening the area here. And we sometimes explain it by saying, you know, when you're kids and you want to make this fog on the window, you do like this. So it's kind of this action, but we're keeping the mouth closed. So we're making this ocean sound kind of, it kind of sounds like ocean waves when we do it. So I don't know if you can hear it well, but I'll demonstrate it. So kind of like these ocean waves. And this is a great breathing technique. Both helps us to kind of stay balanced. It can help us calm the nervous system. Also, what it's actually doing, it kind of, with this constriction, the breaths become automatically slower because there's less air that can go through. And this is what kind of calms us down as well, this action of doing this. This also can heat up the body. So during pregnancy, we don't want to do it very strongly. It's okay. If you've been to like a Ashtanga class or something, you might hear like the whole room like breathing like this, and that's okay if you're going through a normal yoga class. But if you're pregnant, we just want to do it loud enough so maybe the next person to us can hear it. So just doing it kind of for ourselves so we can hear the sound. So a little bit less loud than I just did now. Okay, so we're going to come into this breath, and I would like to ask you just to bring the palms here onto the lower rib cage, because we're going to do this breath and focus on breathing into the rib cage. So on our inhales, I'm going to inhale and feel a little bit how we press against the palms, so pushing the rib cage out. And then on the exhale, we're hugging everything in. So inhaling, expanding the rib cage, exhaling, hugging everything in. Exactly. Doing a few more of these just to practice. And I'm going to be using the term hugging the baby in, because it's kind of like we're hugging our baby in here, wrapping it in with our body, with our belly. So on the exhale, hugging baby in. Okay, and you can let go. And just to explain it a little bit better, but we're using this also through the practice because we're going to use it to protect the area here. And what we're doing, we're hugging everything in and kind of protecting it as we move through poses. So I'll be saying this a lot on the exhale and hug the baby in. So as we move, we kind of make this action of hugging everything in, and then we're ready to move. So protecting this area. Okay, beautiful. Let's come into what we call rocking. So we're going to start our practice or our classes mostly in the same way. And this is a method that we use also to kind of calm us down. And it's kind of a meditation method. And this is very simple. we just again focus on the movement and the breathing. So on our inhales, we can sit cross-legged like this on a cushion or a block, whatever. And then on our inhale, we're going to move forward, keeping the chest open. And on the exhale, we come back and we round a little bit. So this movement is coming from the hips, not here, but a little bit lower. So from the hips, inhaling, we try to keep the spine straight. On the exhale, we come back and around. Also from the side. So as we inhale, coming forward, keeping the spine straight. As we exhale, we can round and just relax back. And relaxing the shoulders as well. Inhaling, coming forward. Exhale, coming back, and be good just to keep the palms on the knees. And we can kind of hold onto the knees even. So inhaling, coming forward. Exhale, rounding back. Okay, and maybe just closing our eyes now as we move, and we're gonna just move with our own breath. So using our inhales to come forward and our full exhales to come back. And we're not making any pause here between the breathings, between the inhales and exhales. Just using our full inhales, coming all the way forward on the inhale. And using our full exhales to come back. And as soon as the exhales are done, moving forward again. So just keeping it flowy. And as we practice this becomes more relaxing and automatic. Might be a little bit aware of the movement to start with. And we're usually just breathing in and out through the nose, but if you feel like you can always exhale through the mouth as well, if you need to release. And as we continue, you might even notice that your breaths become a little bit longer. So the moving becomes a little bit deeper. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you come back. Let's continue for a few more breaths here. Inhale forward, exhale back. And let's slowly come back up into the middle. So as I said, this is a kind of a meditation method to help us go a little bit deeper quickly. Why the moving? It's because as we move, it helps us calm the mind because we're kind of focused on the moving and we can't really be thinking about anything else. Also with the movement, we're also working on loosening up around here. And if we practice this, regularly, this can be a beautiful method also just to do before we fall asleep to help us calm down. You can even use it during labor. just to help us kind of get into this calming zone. And maybe this method doesn't work for you, that can also happen. So also feel free when we do this during the practice. I encourage you to give it a chance if you haven't, but also if you feel like you already have your own method of kind of getting into this calming state, use that, please. Okay, I think we should get into a little bit moving now, moving the body. So how are you feeling in the legs? Are you good? Or yeah, okay. Just stay a little bit longer here. So let's just come a little bit into the neck. I'm gonna loosen up the neck. So on the exhale, bring the chin down to the chest. On our inhale, we're gonna lift up and look up. Maybe dropping the head back if it feels good. Exhale, chin down to the chest. Inhale, looking up, moving with your own breath. Just focusing on loosening up in this uppermost part of the spine. And we can come back to the middle. Let's bring our left ear down to the left shoulder. Maybe rolling the chin down and moving to the other side. And see if you want to just come back and forth here a few times. Or if it feels good, you can even come into whole circles here. Full circles with the neck, with the head. So just loosening up. A few more circles here. Also remembering to change directions. So changing directions, going the other way. And then coming up to the middle again. And let's come into the shoulders. We're gonna start rolling the shoulders, bring them up to the ears on the exhale, back and down. So inhale, coming up. Exhale, shoulder blades coming together. A few more here. Okay. Beautiful. And if we're on a block, let's now grab one of the other block or something to place the arm on. If we're not sitting on anything, we can also just bring the palm straight to the mat. So our left palm is down to the mat. And we're going to inhale our right arm up here. Lengthen the right arm up. And maybe coming a little bit over. Finding a little stretch here on the right side. And releasing, coming to the other side. So if you're using a block, bringing the block to the other side. Left arm up, lengthen up. Exhale. Coming a little bit over. Want to make sure we're not compressing anything here, but lengthening it. Just coming over. And releasing. Okay, let's come into a little twist as well. Let's actually just come straight into a little flow here that we do often to warm up. So we're bringing the palms together. We're going to inhale. On our exhale, we interlace the fingers and press forward, rounding the spine. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, release. Inhale, palms coming together. Exhale, rounding, pressing forward. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, releasing. Okay, inhale again. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen here. We're gonna release the palms. We're gonna bring the left palm to the left knee here. Right palm comes behind us, coming into a little twist here. So on the inhale, we can inhale and lengthen. On the exhale, looking to our right side here, towards the right shoulder. And releasing. Let's bring the palms again together for the other side. Inhale here. Exhale, rounding the spine, pressing forward. Inhale up. This time releasing the right palm to the right knee, left palm behind us. And again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, looking towards our left shoulder. Okay, and releasing. I'm gonna do this one more time. So inhale here. Exhale, rounding, pressing forward. Inhale, lengthen up. I'm gonna release both palms, bring them behind us. If we're sitting on a block, maybe we have a bolster or something behind us. Otherwise, just coming to our mat. Palms are, or fingers are facing forward. I'm gonna open the chest here. So we're lifting up the chest, maybe dropping the head back. Just focusing on feeling a little stretch here in the front. Breathing into the chest this time, into the stretch. And releasing, beautiful. Okay, and now we're gonna come into our four-legged position. So we're gonna find our way here to our palms and knees. And this is the time it can be useful to have one of the blocks or two. If you have a book or something at home that you can use to lift up the palms a little bit. Okay, we're going to come into what we call, well, let's start with our cats and cows, loosening up a little bit more before we come into the flow. So we can spread the fingers a little bit. That also helps us protect the wrists. And making sure the palms are under the shoulders, knees under the hips more or less. Have this good stable ground. And we're going to come into our cats and cows. So on our inhale, we're going to drop the chest down and look forward. So getting a little bit of a rounding here. On the exhale, we press into the palms, come into rounding of the spine. Rounding like a cat. So on our inhale, dropping down, looking forward, nothing too deep. On the exhale, pressing into the palms and rounding. So moving between these two poses here with our breath. Again, just following our own breath, loosening up the spine and the back. Let's do two more. And looking forward. Exhale, rounding. And finding our neutral position again, sorry. Finding our neutral position, we're gonna lengthen our right leg back here. Keep the toes on the floor. We're gonna press a little bit here into the heels. So we're finding a nice stretch in the calf muscle, back of the calf. Also a common, something that happens a lot is we get this tension in the calf cramps during pregnancy. So this is a great stretch to do during the day or even before we go to bed. Okay, and if we're going to give you options to keep just staying here, stressing the calf muscle, or if you want to take it further, on the exhale, we're going to hug the baby in and lift up the leg. And we can stay here, lift up the opposite arm. So see how the balance is today. Taking deep breaths. And bringing the palm back, knee back. And let's come back to our four-legged and come into a few cats and cows again. So inhaling, looking forward, exhale, rounding. Inhale forward, exhale, rounding. Okay, let's come back to our neutral position for the other side. We're going to stretch the left leg back, toes on the floor or the ground, pressing into the heel, finding our calf stretch. And either staying here or on our next exhale, hugging the baby in, lifting the leg up. Make sure the toes are pointing down, so we kind of staying, keeping the stretch of the calf. And maybe the opposite arm comes up. And here you can just look straight down, helps us with the balance. Keeping the spine straight. And returning the palm, returning the leg. Beautiful. See if you want to just sit down here onto the heels. We're coming up, we're just going to roll our wrists a little bit before we continue. Okay. From here, we're going to come into our soft form A and soft form B, which is kind of a introduction into the flow that we're going to be doing during the course. And this is a quite simple and nothing too deep. Just to get, this is also to help us check a little bit in with our body before going anywhere deeper. So see how we're doing today. And then when we get further into the flow during the course, I'll give you options. So if you see you don't want to go too far today, you also have to listen to your body. You have options to adjust. Okay, and make sure to take a sip of water whenever you need. This is also important to stay hydrated. And when we're ready, we're going to come back into a four-leg pose. And if we have our block or our book, we're going to place our index finger more or less here by the corner. So on either side, we're placing our index finger here by the corner of the block to start with. So we have a good base. Again, spreading the fingers. And you can even using this, remember, as a cushion for the knees. And if you need a little support, you can place also here on this edge of the other blanket or the mat to lift up the wrists. Okay, so knees under the hips, palms under the shoulders. We're going to place the palms up on top of the block or the book so the thumbs are touching. And then we're going to make sure our knee here, our right knee, is in line with our right palm. And remember our Ujjayi breathing. On the next exhale, we're going to hug the baby in and we're going to step the left leg here next to the block. And if this already feels challenging, the step here, see if you need to higher, make adjustments, put another block or a book on top. So it's easier. Okay. From here, we're going to come up. We can place our left palm on the thigh, lifting up, finding the straight line here of the body. On the next exhale, we're coming forward. So here the front knee is more or less above the ankle. So here we should start feeling a little bit here, stretch. Okay. And just coming back, finding the straight line again. Exhale, palms coming back down to the block, bringing the left leg back. Palms come back to the mat. And let's find our child's pose. So knees apart. And lengthen the palms forward. Our forehead comes down onto the mat. Or if that is not available, we can also place a block or a book onto the forehead. And here you might notice you kind of need to breathe into the back. We keep our knees apart here, so we have plenty of space for our belly. So knees apart, breathing into the back. And this is also a good resting pose. So whenever you need to take a pause during the class, this is an ideal pose to come into. Okay, from here we're going to come into our down dog. So we're going to press into our palms. We can kind of come up to our foreleg again, back with toe center. We're going to lift into our down dog, so lifting the knees up. Our hips are pointing up. You can bend the knees here if you need to, it's okay. Just coming into a pose where you can allow the belly here to drop down and stay a little bit loose, giving the pelvic floor a little break. So taking deep breaths. And on our exhale, both knees coming down at the same time. Back in our forelegs. Okay, we're going to come to the other side. So let's place both palms up on the block. This time we're lining the left knee with the left palm. On our next exhale, hugging the baby in, stepping the right leg forward. Next to the blocks. Okay, coming up on the inhale. Inhale, finding the straight line. Exhale, coming forward. Okay. And we come back, inhaling back. Exhale, finding our block again. And again, bring the right leg back. Let's find our child's pose. Palms onto the mat, knees apart, forehead down onto the mat. Deep breaths into the back. And from here, finding our down dog. So coming back to our forelegs, pressing the palms down to the mat, tucking the toe center, we lift up. Finding our down dog. And it can be good to take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. On our next exhale, both knees coming back down. Okay, back to foreleg. Okay, we're gonna come through the same routine, adding a little bit of a twist here. So this would be soft form A. I'm coming into soft form B. Let me know if you have any questions or something is not clear. Okay, so let's come back to forelegs. So finding our place on the mat, we have the block in front of us. Bringing both palms on top of the block. Lining the right knee with the right palm. On our next exhale, hugging the baby in, stepping the left leg forward. On the inhale, coming up. Exhale, forward. This time we're going to bring our left forearm here on our left thigh. We inhale, lengthen up. On the exhale, we're keeping the hips as they are, facing forward. Exhaling the arm back, so we're twisting in the upper body here. Notice how you keep the hips fixed, facing forward, but twisting in the upper body. Beautiful. On the inhale, lengthen up, coming back. Exhale, coming down. Stepping the left leg back. Palms coming to the mat. Let's just repeat here. Child's pose. Taking 2 breaths. And then moving back up to find our down dog. 3 deep breaths. Beautiful pose to do to give our pelvic floor a break, especially when the belly becomes heavy. On the exhale, both knees coming down. Just come straight to our other side, so palms coming up to the block. Left knee lined with the left palm, and on the exhale, hug the baby in as we step the right leg forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come forward. This time the right forearm on the right thigh, left arm lengthens up. We keep the hips straight and twist in the upper back. Okay. Inhale, come back. Exhale, come forward. Finding our block. This time we're going to come up just to practice that. So you might want to change the block around or add another block or a book. Lift up the back knee. On the exhale, hugging the baby and step forward. Okay. Here we're going to lengthen the spine, straighten out the spine, lift up the chest. Exhale, coming into forward fold. And here you can bend the knees as much as you like. And we're going to come up, coming slowly, palms on the thighs, or the arms coming to the side. And exhale. Beautiful. Okay. So that was soft form B, and that kind of gives us a good introduction of the flow, and you probably feel a little bit looser now. Okay. Let's see. I want to talk a little bit more because feel free to take a sip of water and maybe just come back into a nice seating position. Also, one seating pose if you're tired in the cross-legged. I like to use the blocks here, kind of sitting on my heels, but with the support of the block. So this is also an option. And I'll be talking a little bit less probably in the other classes, but as this is the first day, it's more of also an introduction and giving you some information that we need before the class. I did send you all a sheet which is called Before You Practice. And I don't know if you got a chance to read it, but I want to go a little bit through the points that we have on there. Just these are good points to know before we practice, basically. Then let's see. So the first point there is it says it's about getting an okay from your doctor or your midwife about practicing. And this is mostly concerning if you had any problems in previous pregnancies, or if you know there are any problems coming up for you, any pain or anything. That it can be important then just to check to make sure you can practice. And of course, if you feel any pain during the class in any pose, nothing should be painful. It might be discomfort that you feel, but if something is painful, stinging pain, come immediately out of the pose and let me know. Also, if you have any kind of cramping, menstrual-like cramps, things like this, please stop as well. Another point about, especially those that have practiced yoga, you might have heard, like, don't eat 2 hours before practicing. You want to practice on kind of an empty stomach. This is not very strict when you're doing prenatal yoga, and we have, like, our energy level is a lot lower or a lot more sensitive during pregnancy. So please, I would recommend having something light about 30 minutes before the class, so you have for sure energy for the class. And also feel free, if you need to, bring snacks to the class, like, that's really welcome. And same for as we're talking about snacks, I asked you all to bring water bottles, because it's very important to stay hydrated. So always, whenever you need to take a pause, take a sip of water. As I said, it's important to feel good in the classes. Another thing, I'll touch a little bit deeper on it later, but as I mentioned, with the joints getting loose, so we have to be careful about not overstretching during pregnancy, and it can be a good to keep in mind just not to go 100% into the poses, but we might feel like, wow, I'm so flexible suddenly, like the joints are so loose and it's so easy just to give into the pose. But just being aware of this, that because we're loose, it is very easy for us to come and overstretch. So kind of staying within the 80% or something like that. And of course, if you haven't been practicing before the pregnancy, or you took a break during the first trimester, which is very common, to just go easy, just coming into your 50–80%, making sure to rest when you need to, and just slowly bringing up the stamina and the energy again. And we'll go through these steps, as I told you, also starting from next class, going a little bit deeper into what we have to be careful about. But one of the things is, for example, to, of course, the compression of the belly, to be aware of not doing any poses that are pressing directly on the belly. And that's why we're, for example, in the twists, we focus on twisting in the upper body, not twisting in the lower or middle back. And then in the seat, you can also see some more precautions. These are quite obvious, but to please stop the practice if you notice any blurred vision, dizziness, fluid leaking from the vaginal bleeding, anything abnormal, of course, to stop and just let me know, or whatever you need to do. All right. And also those that I don't know already too, if you had any complications during other pregnancy, or if you know of anything that anything that you should be careful about too, also it's good that I know about it, and I can also adjust to it. Okay. Any questions here about this? No. Also online, feel free to just write in the chat. I'll see it if you have any questions. Okay, so we have about 15–20 more minutes, and I think I kind of want to just finish off with a little bit of stretching, and then coming into a nice relaxation. And we'll end all the classes with a relaxation, because that's super important as well, especially when we're pregnant. Let's prepare for our relaxation, and then we go from there into a couple of stretches, and then we can go straight into the relaxation. So I'm going to show you one method that I would like you to try out for this class. I'll also show you other options for the relaxation if in some case, or if for some reason this doesn't feel comfortable, then we have other options, but we're gonna start this one. So we're gonna have blocks or whatever we have at home, just to kind of make a little angle here with our bolster. So we can place our blocks here, bolster on top, and please just get it ready. So you have it ready for the relaxation. So if you're at home, like I say, you can use a pillow, something from the sofa, just that we get like this nice corner here. So we're gonna be lying like this on top of it. So. And we're gonna grab a blanket or a towel, and it can be good to use just the long side here, because we're gonna roll it and have like this nice long roll. So if you have a blanket or a towel or something available at home, creating something like this. Okay, so let's come onto our forelegs just for one final pose here. Can just leave this here to the side. So So coming to our forelegs, let's just start by bringing our left leg to the side here. And it's more or less like you can have the knee bent here. We're just going to come to a little rounding or circles here, moving back and forth. So this practice is working here with the pelvis, opening the middle part of the pelvis. So just making a few nice circles here, back and forth. Okay, and then returning the knee, changing sides, bringing the right leg out. And again, moving back and forth or coming into circles to see what works for you. And releasing, bringing the leg back. Okay, from here, let's just come into sitting here in front of our bolster or pillow. And we're going to come into our butterfly, bringing the soles of the feet here together. Okay, and we kind of preferably want to have the sit bones pointing down. So if you're rounding too much, you might need to grab something to lift up the hips. I don't want to sit like this, so we want to try to bring the sit bones facing down. Okay, and maybe just moving the legs up and down, just feeling a little bit into the stretch. You can even close the eyes. Starting to take a little bit deeper breaths. Focusing the breaths into the belly. If you don't feel anything as you are, maybe bringing the belly a little bit forward towards the mat, making sure the spine stays straight. Just getting a nice stretch here. Okay. And from here, we're gonna come into our Savasana, our final pose. So I can remove your blanket if you have a blanket under you. And we're just gonna come lying down here onto our bolster or a pillow. And we're gonna bring our blanket here, or towel, and wrap it so it's coming on top of our feet here. Still in our butterfly with the feet together. Blanket comes on top, and then here under the thighs, so giving us a little support. Exactly, and then we can just slide down, palms facing up, relaxing the arms to the side, making sure we feel comfortable. If something is awkward or doesn't feel nice, let me know and I'll come and help you adjust. And here, let's just start by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And at any point, if it doesn't feel good, just raise your hand and I'll come over, or write me on the chat if you need suggestions for adjustments. So a few more of these inhales through the nose, exhales through the mouth. I'm gonna lower the light a little bit. See. And I'm gonna walk you through a little body scan to help you relax. So I'm gonna name one body part at a time, and the only thing you need to do here is to think or notice the body parts without changing anything in the body or changing your position, just noticing if you can relax a little bit more in this body part. So let's start with our face. We notice our forehead. We see if there's anything in the forehead that can be relaxed even a little bit more. Noticing our eyebrows, our eyelids. Our cheeks completely relaxed. Noticing our chin, our jaw. Maybe the mouth is slightly open so you can fully relax the jaws. Our whole face completely relaxed. We notice the back of our head relaxed on our pillow, on our bolster. Feeling our neck relaxed, our shoulders. We notice the upper arms, elbows, and forearms completely relaxed, just hanging softly, relaxing on the mat, on the ground. Palms relaxed, pressing down. Maybe this feeling of them sinking down, heavy. The inside of our palms relaxed, our fingers relaxed. And our thumbs completely relaxed. Notice our back, our spine resting easily. Upper back, middle back, and lower back. Maybe our chest, our belly, slightly moving with the breath. Our hips relaxed. Noticing our thighs, our knees, our legs. Everything completely relaxed. Our ankles, soles of the feet, heels and toes, completely relaxed, resting. Feel our body heavy, sinking down, relaxing, letting go. Our whole body relaxed. We're going to allow ourselves a few more minutes here in complete relaxation. And from here, we're going to slowly come back. So let's just start by taking a couple of deep inhales through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Breathing into the belly, full deep breaths again. You can start moving fingers, maybe moving toes, maybe rolling the wrists and start stretching out. Just slowly waking up the body again. And when you're ready, bringing the knees together with the support of the palms. And we can drop the knees to the right side And slowly just make our way up to a seated position again. Using the support of the palms as you come up. And we can keep the eyes closed a little bit longer if it feels good. Finding our seated position again. And here I'd like to invite you to place one palm on the chest or the heart and the other one on the belly, on the baby. Just to remind us here that we went through this practice together with our baby. And we can use the chance to check in with our breath. How's our breath now? How's our body? Maybe checking in with our mind, seeing if something has changed from the beginning of the class. I'm coming back to the same position we started the class in. Just doing one more check-in here. And then bringing the palms together in front of the chest. We can slightly press the thumbs towards the chest, lifting the chest up. Thank you for today. Namaste. Beautiful. So thank you for this first class of the course. And next class I'll start going through that I mentioned, the dolphin method, where we go through the cues and the causes we need to go through or need to be aware of during pregnancy and when we're moving. So yes, I think that's all for now, and see you on Thursday. And of course, if any questions, comments, write me in the chat if you're online. Feel free to come here and ask. Thank you. Tack. Perfect.